everyone, what's up? This is Simon from DevTactic. Today I will show you how you can easily integrate the Firebase Storage option into your Ionic app using Angular Fire. So you might know about Firebase Database, which is the real-time database, helps to sync all your data immediately and works pretty awesome. But you can also upload files to the storage, and that's what we will do in this tutorial. So I've created a blank new Ionic app, and we go ahead and install both Firebase and Angular Fire. So at the time of creating this, I have to use the release candidate number 5 and also the next attribute, so that we can use the connection to the storage through Firebase, through Angular Fire, and also Firebase in this version, but perhaps you're on the later version already in the future. What we need as well is a Cordova plugin for the in-app browser, because we will add a few text files and we will open them through the in-app browser. So once the Cordova plugin is added, we of course also have to add the Ionic native package for the in-app browser, like always. And then we will also create a new page and call it My Files, and also an additional provider called Data. Once you got all of this, we're basically ready. We can remove the home folder and also open the app component and switch out this for My Files page. So now we use the lazy loading, and make sure to remove all references to the home page as well if you remove it. Of course, you also need a Firebase account, it's free, and also a new project. So I've created this project. And for the database, in this tutorial, we need some simple rules which allow read and write access to the database, because we won't use authentication in this example. Then you can go ahead and check out Add Firebase to your web app. And this will bring up a configuration object which you can copy to your app module. And this works pretty great. So let's call it Firebase Config perhaps. And then we need to import a few things. Let's see if my auto import works. Nope, of course not. So let's get it back and do it manually. So what we need in this tutorial is first of all the Angular Fire module. This is the base module which will be initialized with the information we can see below. Then we need two more imports, but the second one is the Angular Fire database module, and this comes from Angular Fire 2/database. And finally, the storage module coming from storage. So as you can see, they're separated into different packages. If we had authentication as well, this would be another module. But for now, we got only those three. So add them to your imports. And also for the Angular Fire module, we can call initialize app and pass in our Firebase config from above. So this will establish the connection to Firebase through our parameters. No need to copy them. I will delete the app after this video. So make sure to use your own values or it won't work. Okay, so that's enough for the setup. Now we can continue with our data provider, where we can remove some stuff which is not really needed, but we need to import other things. So we need a connection to the database, so Angular Fire database, and also AF storage, Angular Fire storage, like this. That's enough for now. And now we come to the actual functions. So we want to be able to display a list of files. So we need a get files function. We want to upload to the storage some information which will then return an Angular Fire upload task. Okay, will be red for now. Then we want to store the info to the database. You will see why later. And finally, we need a function to delete a file like this. So this is the basic structure for our provider. And let's dive into the different functions. Get files, perhaps the most easy one here. We simply use a reference to a list in the database, and we say files. It doesn't matter if the file node is not yet existing, it will be created once this is used the first time. We could already return this and it would be a list, but there wouldn't be the keys of the objects. And therefore we need a little bit special syntax with the snapshot changes. We map the changes. So for all the changes that roll in, we map them to a special object where we extract the key from the payload and add all the rest of the values to a new object. So therefore, when we call this, it is still an observable, it is still an array, but we also get access to the key property there. So to upload to the storage, it's also pretty easy. Let's create a new name because you don't want to store everything under the same name, of course. Let's use this syntax and just create a new date, get time, .txt. So we will store simple text files which we can write to Firebase. You can of course also upload images. More information on this is inside the Ionic Academy, where we got a complete course on image upload and sharing through Firebase Storage. But for now, we use this. Of course, if you have multiple users, you want to make this even more unique, perhaps a random string or the user ID. But as I'm only the only person using this right now, I can be sure that I can only upload one text file at a time. So then when you got the new name, you can use our Angular Fire storage reference, and also just like before, we can specify a reference. So let's say all the files should be moved to files/new name. So this means we will be inside storage, and then there will be a folder files, and inside the files folder all the files will be contained. Now finally we have to write something to that location in the storage, and then we can use the put string with the information, and that's all we need, and it's done. Now when you upload something to the storage, you get some information back, but it's not easy to retrieve like a list of files in a specific folder, and therefore we will keep a track of those information with a database. So once this will return some meter information, we will call our second function to store this information to the database. So if you create an object like this, whatever, you can extract information as much as you want from the meter information. I just put time created, the actual URL, the full path which you can open in the browser, so you got a path to the storage file, perhaps also the content type. And now just like you're perhaps already used to call this database list, which gives us a list at the key files. And then we call push, which will create a unique ID inside the database for our new object, and then have the right syntax and everything works. Okay, we're almost done with the provider and the real functions. So let's add delete file. We need to retrieve the key, and we also need the storage path, which are both inside our object that will be passed to this function. Now with those two information, it's really easy to delete it, get a reference or do it in one, doesn't really matter. This database list add files and then call remove with a key. So this removes entry from database, and then we need to clean our storage as well. We can return this then. So return this Angular Fire storage reference to the exact storage path we've extracted up here, and then call delete. So one is remove, one is delete. No big difference here, but this will remove file from storage. So that's a difference in here. Okay, the provider's ready. I will already bring up Ionic Serve or Ionic Lab, whatever, as we get closer to our finish. So perhaps start with a TypeScript implementation of my files. We have created all important functions. So this is how the app looks like. As you can see, not much going on yet. Inside the constructor, we first of all need our data provider. Okay, import works, fine. And then we need an array of files, which is of the type observable, and this will be in any array. Okay, and now once the app starts, we call the data provider getFiles, which returns an observable, and assign this to our own files, which we can then use inside our view. So perhaps we, let's stay here and finish this. Also, we got a few functions in here. Oh, come on, what's going on outside? I'm recording a video. Be quiet, please. So we need add file, upload information, and also delete file. Okay, and finally view file. So again, a few functions, but don't worry, we got this. What we need as well, I just noticed, is both the alert controller from Ionic and also the toast controller to display a little toast message once we've done a successful request. So to add a file, we use this code. We create an alert view with a title and especially one input. So we have a simple text input with a name info, which is taken care of by the handler of the store button, which will then call our new function. So perhaps we can already add this part to the view so we see what's going on. Let's remove this and make it primary. My files, we don't need any padding, and we add a floating button, so ion fab right bottom, and then button ion fab color primary. I think we don't need this, do we? I don't know. And then click add file, which will bring up the dialog. So ion icon name, whatever, cloud upload, whatever you like. And then we should be able to already see the button and also see some error logs if anything goes wrong. So of course, nope, where is it? Of course, I forgot input alert.present. So now we got this little alert. We can input the information and then click store, and the information will be handled to the next function. So at this point, we now make the upload and storage. So first of all, let's create the upload by calling this.dataProvider upload to storage our text. And I make this into a variable so we can use this now because we want the promise of this event and then upload to the database. And this looks at the point of writing this a bit tricky because we have to call the then function on the upload to receive a promise. So then we can only use the promise. So you can see it looks a bit tricky. I'm not sure if this is meant to be. Perhaps it's already different when you use this. But anyhow, this means we're finished with the upload. And now we can use the data provider, store information to database. And this is in the result.metadata. Perhaps I will lock this result out for once. Okay, and when this is finished, finally, we can display a little toast to the user if we like to. So, simple toast, new file edit, and present it. Yeah, let's give this a try. Okay, we haven't crafted the list actually. Okay, so let's finish this in the intended row. Sorry. Delete a file, again using the data provider, delete file, and then the file, subscribe, so this is observable, not a promise. And I think we can use more or less the same toast notification, just it's now file removed. And finally, view file, we can add the private in-app browser, in-app, where is it, browser? I think I forgot it in here. So import in-app browser from add Ionic native in-app browser and add the provider to your array. And now this one should also know about the in-app browser, right? And when we view a file, we can use this .in-app browser create with the URL, and then we're good to go. Okay, all functions are finished. This means we can head over to the view and wrap up the tutorial with the implementation of the list. So the list will be an ng4 let file of files, and this is an observable, so we use the async pipe in here to automatically receive all updates. Ion card header, file.created, and make this a little date. There's some information, but not a lot in there, so not many options here. But of course, feel free to create whatever you like to. And then add a few buttons, icon left, outline, and on click, view file, and this is file.url. Then perhaps an icon if you want to, let's say the eye. It's not the eye of Sauron, so don't be afraid. And if you want to simply some information for us, and it doesn't look so lonely. Second one, delete file, and we pass in only the file, I guess, right? And also color dangerous, so this action is really dangerous. Trash, and then I think we more or less got it right. Perhaps make this icon only. And let's see how the app looks. Okay, we don't have any files. So put the storage for once to the side, and then we upload epic information secret whatever. We store it and we see new file edit. So from the app side, everything works. We got the new entry. We got the metadata So download URL, path, time, size, even whatever, you can use all of this. And then we also immediately saw inside the database our new information with a path inside the storage. So it's in files / this name. And also from the URL, let's try and copy this. You can see that a new file will be downloaded and it contains exactly the information. You can also go to the storage and see a new folder is created, and there is our file. You can download it. It contains still the same information. So more info, store another one, and we got a second one. You can remove this one and it will be removed. The database reflects the changes a bit better. If you add something, you immediately see the new entry added, and if you change or delete it, it will become red and removed. And also, if you want to view the file with the in-app browser, a new text file again is added, and there is my information. So now you're able to make a connection from your Ionic app to Firebase, upload files to the storage, connect the storage with your database to get the information, and I think you're ready to build an awesome app. So if you've built anything, of course, let me know. I always love to see apps inspired by my tutorials. And also, if you want more information on Ionic plus Firebase, especially something like image upload with Firebase, authentication and all of that, make sure to check out the Ionic Academy, which contains a lot of videos, courses, and a great community, and it doesn't load when I want to bring it up. So check it out. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to check out the other videos. And of course, have a great day and take care.